families sometimes can be damaged by the addictive behaviour of somebody, you know, and they in turn take up their own, I suppose you could call it kind of unhealthy ways of coping. Number one, I suppose, yes, I have been damaged by somebody else's behaviour, but second of all then that I can change my life and I can have a better quality life. And really importantly, we emphasise to people that I can have a better quality of life whether or not the addict in my life changes. You know, and that's a really important point. I think that sometimes people believe that my happiness is dependent on whether you get recovery or not. And we try to teach people that is not necessarily the case, you know. How can you change? How can you just start to accept that you can't make him do something that he doesn't want to do? So can you try to see how can you live with that? Like, and how do you react to it? And you know, well, what would be different? How could you react differently? You know, and it's, you know, it's sometimes it's a question that people find very hard to answer. But in my experience, when they actually start to talk about it, they realise all of the things that they do, that they say, you know, why am I doing that? You know, and oftentimes it comes down to either accepting some behaviour that's unacceptable, putting up with constant unacceptable behaviour, but then being angry because of it. Do you know what I mean? It's this kind of contradiction. And then saying, well, I can't do anything about it. Well, and I would say, well, you can't do anything about the behaviour, but you can certainly do something about the way you are. Sometimes the person who's not the addict gets the brunt of the anger from the children. That's quite common. We would often see that, you know, and what we try to help people to see in that is it's probably because of their behaviour. Do you know what I mean? When I say that sometimes people take on unhealthy behaviours as a way of coping with somebody else's addiction, you know, if, like for instance, if I'm constantly angry, if I'm constantly, you know, giving out about my partner who's drinking or using drugs, well, you know, but I'm coming across as the angry one all the time. And maybe the person who's addicted is coming home full of the joys, taking the kids to McDonald's, spending the money. So sometimes in a child's eyes, it's reversed, you know. The spouse who's not the addict is the one who's always in bad form and never happy, you know, and that's quite sad. And again, what we try to do is to help people to see, look, if you make the changes in yourself and you see that you can have a better quality life and that, you know, maybe this is not the way to cope,